love of music ever since she could walk. She plays the acoustic and bass guitar, the piano, and she's been taking vocal lessons since she was 9 years old. Mackenzie has absolutely fallen in love with performing. She hopes to gain more experience as she goes on to post-secondary education with a focus in nursing. Mackenzie spends 99% of her time with her horse. Along with being a talented musician, she is also a competitive showgirl. She and her friends Maura Atkinson and Will Cox will be performing Toxic by Britney Spears.
Baby, can't you see I'm calling? A guy like you should wear a warning. It's dangerous, I'm falling. There's no escape, I can't wait. I need a hit, baby, give me it. It's dangerous, I'm loving it. Too high, can't come down. Losing my head, spinning round and round. Can you feel me now? Taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under with the taste of poison. Paradise, I'm addicted to you. Don't you know that you're toxic? Taking over me. Too high, can't go down. It's in my head and it's all around. Can you feel me now? Taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under with the taste of poison. Paradise, I'm addicted to you. Don't you know that you're toxic? Don't you love what you do? Don't you know that you're toxic? Intoxicate me now with your loving now. Think I'm ready now. Think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now.
We all can kind of know who the artists are. We have a round of applause for that. I was excited. Thank you, Mackenzie, Maura, and Will. Next up, grade 9 student Lily Lucas. She did such a wonderful job at the last KITES show that she's been invited back here again, and she's going to be singing "Stay With Me" by Sam Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome Lily.
Eventually.
Thank you.
Guess it's true, I'm not good at a one-night stand. But I still need love, 'cause I'm just a man. These nights never seem to go to plan. I don't want you to leave, will you hold my hand? Oh, won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. Why am I so emotional? No, it's not a good look, it's some self-control. Deep down, I know this never works. But you can lay with me so it doesn't hurt. Oh, won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. Ooh, oh, won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me.
That was awesome. We would now like to take a minute to talk about a real issue happening in our province and all around the nation. There's a lack of coverage for the expensive treatment called Spinraza that everyone like Mason needs to help them with their SMA symptoms.
This medication costs $125,000 per spinal injection. People with SMA need 4 doses each year. So let's do the math here. And I'm not so great at math. You're still in high school. You gonna help me out? All right. That's $500,000 a year. I got that right? That's right.
Unfortunately, not everyone has the access to private insurance like Mason's family does. Every 6 months, the family must fight to keep the coverage, and Mason's condition is reassessed at that point. The worst part is that the company could pull the funding at any time, so the fight is very real.
We would now like to invite Mason and his superhero parents, Jenna and Annie, to the stage to speak to you about Mason and his condition.
Hi everyone. I just want to say before I say my speech that it makes a difference when you're going through something like this and then you see your friends and family walk through the door knowing that they're there right behind you and support you. Even if it's people you haven't seen in a while, you're like, oh, they care, they're here, you know. So I just want to say thanks again to everyone that came and is supporting us tonight. I'm Mason Stewart. This is my husband Eddie and Mason, our son. We have a 2-year-old named Casey. He's somewhere wild and free around the there's 4 different types of SMA, type 1 through 4, type 1 being the most severe with the life expectancy of the age of 2. Mason is a type 3 SMA. I remember when the neurologist was trying to figure out what Mason had, and she said, worst case scenario, he has a disease called SMA. Well, I remember praying that it wasn't. I'll never forget that day, the day of those words, your child has SMA. Currently, no cure, no treatment, and it's progressive. I just wanted to go home, get out of the hospital, and pretend it was not real. Eddie and I wanted to hug Mason and never let him go. I think we were depressed for a short while. Mason kept us going. One morning, I remember waking up and deciding this isn't going to stop here. We're going to fight for this. We're going to learn as much as we can. We're going to attend conferences, hold fundraisers, speak with doctors, learn what is upcoming in the drug field. The new drugs, Spinraza, the dream. Still gives me goosebumps when I say it. Spinraza started coming into the front line for us when Mason was about 5 years old. We started hearing about this new drug that may slow down and stop progression for this horrible disease. We educated ourselves. We tried to get Mason into clinical trials in the United States, which failed. They wouldn't take us because we were Canadian. We educated ourselves. We tried to get Mason into a clinical trial in the United States. Oh, sorry, which failed. Yeah. I'm all upset because we're Canadian. Soon we were seeing all our other American SMA friends receiving Spinraza, and that changed the changes that it was doing. I'm not going to lie, it was hard to watch. I was jealous, wishing this one and only treatment can be given to my son, who is slowly losing his ability to walk. Then finally, Spinraza was FDA approved in Canada. What amazing news. FDA approved, but still not government funded for all children. It's like dangling our hope over our heads. We decided to try the private insurance path, which was not easy. It was a lot of back and forth, but they finally agreed to cover Mason for Spinraza. When we got the news, the feeling was something I can't explain. The look in Mason's eyes when we told him he can receive this one and only treatment. Spinraza started January 2018. Mason has been doing absolutely amazing since then. Mason is an extremely intelligent boy with a big heart. Mason loves hockey, baseball, fishing, and hunting. Mason is stubborn and has a no-give-up attitude. We would like to sincerely thank everyone who came out tonight to support Project KITES in Chio. A massive thank you to Ms. Fedor, who is a rock star, and her students for all the hard work they have done to put this show on tonight. Thank you to every single volunteer. We do have some good news. We just found out that Mason is now approved and will receive his Spinraza in July, so we thought we'd share that. We just got that news a couple days ago, so we thought we'd share it while everyone was here, which is great. So no more fighting the insurance company for now. And I just thought I'd leave with a quote, one of our favorite quotes by Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Thank you.
On behalf of all Project KITES students, we would like to say that your entire family is an inspiration to all of us. Please stay on the stage for a few minutes. Stewart family? Other than my life?
Let's try it one more time so you can get the back on stage. students of Mrs. Bedore's English class are reading Shane Burkhaw's book in class and recently had a virtual visit with him. And he's got a very special video message.
A local, here we go. So our next KITES child next semester is a local boy. His name's Mason Stewart. Next semester, he's got SMA as well. Yeah, so I just wondered if you could give a little message, a little shout out, and I'll send it to his mom.
Yeah, this is Mason, you said?
Yeah, Mason Stewart.
Hey, Mason, this is Shane Burkhall, the author of Coffee and My Nightmare. I heard that you are going to be involved with Project KITES, and I think that is awesome. It's amazing that these students are going to be working together for you. I just want to say what's up and tell you to keep your head up, keep being awesome, and if we will accomplish everything that you set your mind to in life. So, thanks.
Amazing. Shane for his video message, and at this time I'd like to ask Chantal and her husband Kevin to come up on stage. They're going to say a few words about their role in our KITES program, and we are so grateful for everything that they do to help us. Project KITES student Julia Ford will be accompanying Chantal and Kevin as she helped with their role in our program.
So while my dad was in the general hospital in November of 2016, I often sat at his window and looked out at Chio. I thought about everyone in that building and what a blessing it was to have such an amazing and caring place. Not only a place for children, but for families. A place to be cared for with every ounce of dedication and commitment. As I watched out of that window, I was also emotional because lives change inside that building. Whether it's my nephew breaking his arm falling off the monkey bars, my oldest being rushed by ambulance from Perth for a swimming accident, or a family like the Stewarts, who know that building more than most families should. I knew that in November I wanted to do something for those kids and parents, something meaningful. Then Mrs. Bedore reached out. I now have the opportunity to do something, anything, for a family. I'm truly blessed to be creating art for many amazing kids. I met Mason not even a month ago, and he was ready for his shoot. No matter what I asked of him, he was determined he was doing it. My anxiety was through the roof during his session as he NASCAR'd around on his scooter. My favorite moments, however, of these sessions is the love. The love between Mason and his puppy, the love between Jenna watching her son smiling, also the love she showed when Mason hooked her roof with his fishing line and she climbed up an old rickety ladder to get it down. I get to experience dreams and turn them into memories. Mason, I hope I've done you justice and all of your dreams come true.
Mason, come back. He really does NASCAR around on that scooter. It's amazing. Big thank you to Julia for making the frames. Thank you to Chantal and Kevin for your long-term support. You are very special to the KITES program. Next up is Bedore with the quilting team. They're going to be presenting Mason with a quilt that they made for him.
Here you are. Thanks everyone. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I'm Mrs. Bedore. This quilt is actually not finished yet. So it is much larger than we anticipated. So Mason, you're supposed to get a lap quilt, but it's going to be like a full size. You can sleep with this quilt on your bed every night. show you regardless because I think it's important to show off the hard work that my students have put into the quilt. Quilting is no easy feat. There are a lot of steps involved in making a quilt, handmade. So we have Emily P., Nora, Vincent, Zach, Abby, Gavin, Ryan, so all of these different students have had a part to play in one of the various stages of making the quilt. The quilt is the cornerstone of Project KITES. So 2.5 years ago when I had the kernel of an idea for a program like this, I thought about how do I incorporate my love of quilting with my love of teaching, with my love of advocacy, and that's sort of how KITES came to be. So each child receives a quilt, and it's really important to us that the quilt represent what the child likes in terms of color or interest. So we knew that Mason loved hunting and that he loved fishing. We went with a hunting theme, and if you want to show them the back, it's camo. So we'll just maybe hold that up for them. There's to open it up. Definitely a work in progress. It probably won't be done until summertime. There you go. So the quilts are theme-based. I just want to say thank you as well to all of you for coming to the show tonight. It means so much to my students and myself that you give up maybe sometimes we go overtime, I'm sorry, we like to talk, but 2.5 hours of your night to be here with us. It's just says a lot about our community that you would be here and celebrate Mason and all of his victories. So thank you very much.
Quilting is a lot more work than I thought it was. Wow.
You should try braiding hair. It's not easy either. Quilts are such a special gift. Our next guest is going to leave you thinking on a whole new level. Hal Hughes is a former MMA fighter who has served his province as a police fighter you see that? Yeah. A police officer for the last 14 years. In the course of his duties, he has sustained 2 separate severe traumatic brain injuries, both 5 years apart. These incidents also led to a diagnosis of PTSD, bipolar, as well as Officer Hal fighting addiction. In his keynote speeches, Hal explains how he rebuilt himself from suicidal to someone who has become a leader in helping other first responders and military dealing with trauma to reclaim their lives. In addition to being a married father of 4, Hal is also a member of Mensa and is currently completing graduate work in psychology. We are so happy to have Hal here to speak with us this evening.
Okay, well, if I'm to be honest, folks, normally I do a lot of speaking for large groups, and I rarely ever get nervous. People always ask that of speakers, right? Do you get nervous? Well, my answer usually is no. Oddly enough, tonight, a little bit choked up. I got to meet Mason and his family earlier today, and I just started feeling the love in the room, and the magic of what happens when people come together as try to help one another. It's pretty awe-inspiring to me and very touching. So if there's a quiver in my voice throughout my talk, it's just love. So it's not a bad thing. So I was asked yesterday, I think, or the day before, last minute, I was called by one of the organizers, and they said, can you come in and give a really motivating talk on perseverance and motivation and cool stuff like that? I said, sure. And I was thinking, usual 30 to 45 minutes, something like that. You got 300 seconds. You got 5 minutes. Like, okay, I'll do the best that I can. So I've got 5 minutes now. I've been blabbing for 30 seconds already. So I've got 4.5 minutes left to try and blow you guys away. I'll do my best. So here's the story, guys. January 1st, 2008. There's a few people in the room that weren't even born yet. I was Superman at that point. I was unstoppable. I was that cop that could do anything. I was kicking in doors for drug warrants. I was also heavily involved in martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. And that was the year I was supposed to turn pro, according to my coach. And everything that I faced at work just bounced off me, like I was Teflon. Then something happened. I was driving my cruiser, I was stopped on the highway waiting to turn left, and a truck hit me from behind at 50 miles an hour. The whole cruiser caved in, my head took the full impact off the steering wheel, and I was diagnosed with my first traumatic brain injury and severe PTSD as well. I got put off work, I gained 50 pounds, I slept 20 hours a day, I was put on 8 different meds, And within a very short amount of time, I went from being that unstoppable Superman that I described to suicidal. But then something happened. My son, my 4-year-old son, was talking with my wife, and she was trying to explain why Daddy wasn't the same Daddy anymore. Why he couldn't tuck him in at night, why he didn't read him stories, why he didn't play with them. And my 4-year-old was trying to process this, and I guess he did, because finally he locked eyes with me, and he said, well, I want my real daddy to come home. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to remember anything tonight, remember these words, okay? When the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. When your reasons why for doing anything in life are big enough and strong enough, you'll find a way around it, through it, and much to be against the doctor's prognosis, 8 months from the day my son said those words, I was back to duty, packing heat, chasing bad guys again. Now, 4 years almost to the day that I got back to work, I was restraining a suspect in the hospital, actually, ironically, in the Perth ER. He got free, he headbutted me, he knocked me out cold standing up, and I fell headfirst to the tile floor. And I was diagnosed with a moderate to severe traumatic brain injury at that time. A very short while later, I was having weird symptoms. I was basically told I had bipolar disorder, severe PTSD, and then I was given some opiates for the migraines I was dealing with. And so in very short order, I got addicted to the painkillers. Started taking large amounts of painkillers, overdosed twice. Second time my wife literally was watching me breathe with 911 dialed on the phone. So I put my family through a lot, with everything that I've been through, they paid a bigger price. So this is where I was 3 years ago. You could call it rock bottom, as close to death as you can imagine. But what I've learned, ladies and gentlemen, which many of you may already know, is that oftentimes the treasure in life, oftentimes the wisdom in life is at rock bottom, isn't it? The treasure sometimes is in the darkness. And that's what I'm here to share just a couple of minutes up with you tonight, is what I picked up off the bottom on my way up. And what I want to share is maybe a couple pieces of advice for how to deal with struggles and adversity. Now, I can see the ages in the room. Everyone here has probably had their fair share, right? Is it safe to say that life has punched you all in the snot blocker at one point or another? Give me a nod, that's true, right? More than once. It's made your arse into boot closet a couple times. This is how life is. So what I'm here to tell you is that's not going to stop. There's another train waiting for you around the corner. That's not being negative. That's just with how life is. How are we going to deal with it? Well, the first thing we can do, we've seen it here tonight, and the most powerful thing we can do to be more resilient is we can develop and build our tribe. Now, unfortunately, we're wired. I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but we're wired for anxiety and worry. You ever notice that it's really easy to worry about something? Anybody notice it's really easy to put your hands up, please? It's easy to worry. You know why that is? Because our ancestors that were wandering out of caves, if they were all stressed out and worried, they didn't eat. Like our chilled out ancestors that were out like, oh, you know what happened to them? Some like apex predator would be gnawing on their neck and kill them. So they didn't pass down their genes to us. We just got the worry genes. So we're wired for that, but we're also wired for something that saves us. We're wired for connection and tribe. We truly are pack animals. And with pack animals, like with wolves, when a wolf wanders off from its pack, within weeks or months, that wolf is dead. Lone wolves die. We're the same as humans. We need to band together as a pack, but you need to pick your pack wisely. The way I pick my pack now, I have used the 3 a.m. rule. 3 a.m. rule is this. In my pack, if I call you up at 3 a.m. and need your help, you come running. If you're not willing to get out of bed and help me in the middle of the night, you're probably not a good friend. You know, if you call us in the middle of the night and say, I need you to come help me bury a body, and they put on their shoes and they come running, that's the type of person you want to keep yourself around. So tribe is essential. And number 2, this is a hard one. Change the way you feel about struggle and pain. Embrace it. Now that's hard to hear for some of you in the room that are probably hurting right now. But if you think about it, the strongest people that you know, the people with the strongest hearts, the people with the strongest minds, they have the most scars, don't they? They've been through the most stuff. You got to go through stuff to get strength. You got to go through stuff to get wisdom. And you can learn to embrace your pain. I learned after all the pain I've been through now that when new pain comes my way, I embrace it. And all I tell myself is, these are growing pains. I'm going to grow through this. Because what I know is that for almost every tragedy, after every bad situation people have been through, that's where they find meaning. That's where they find their purpose in life. This very event itself came out of bad circumstances. Somebody decided to step up and find some meaning and purpose behind it and help this wonderful family. Everything in life that's good comes on the other side of discomfort. And what we tend to do when things come our way, though, is we're really quick to label them as good or bad. Can we do that? But who here has ever had the experience where something bad happens, and then months or years later you look back and go, that was a blessing in Scott? Who's had that experience? Next time something bad happens, instead of waiting a year and suffering, just right away, crunch the timeline and go, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Because at the end of the day, good, bad, who knows, right? I mean, my favorite story is about a guy and his son. They're horse farmers, they live at the base of the mountain. One day their prize horse jumps out of the stable, goes running up into the hills, takes off. The neighbor comes over and says, oh, this is awful. How bad? And the wise farmer goes, good, bad, who knows? A few days later, that same horse comes running out of the hills, leads 6 wild horses right into the stable. The neighbor comes over and says, oh, this is wonderful. The wise farmer goes, good, bad, who knows? Next day, the son's breaking in one of these wild horses. The horse rears up, kicks him in the femur, snaps it in half. Neighbor comes over. This is awful. The wise farmer says, good, bad, who knows? Shortly after that, the army comes to enlist the son in a war where he surely would have been killed. But he can't go. He's got a broken leg. Good, bad, who knows? The other thing with struggles, ladies and gentlemen, in this day and age, we're all guilty of it. A friend of mine called me up a while ago and he said, I had the worst day ever. Now, clearly he had suffering in the tone of his voice. I said, buddy, what's going on? What happened? He said, well, I got up, I came downstairs, my Keurig machine didn't work. I know, man. I know. This is a true story. And then on the way to work, my SUV broke down. Transmission went. So my wife had to pick me up, take me to work. When I got to work, I was late. So my boss was ragging on me all day. This was the worst day ever. But aren't we, raise your hand, aren't we all guilty of doing that? Of getting things out of proportion, right? So I broke it down for him. So I said, okay, so you came downstairs, your magic coffee maker didn't work. Then your $60,000 SUV broke down, so your gorgeous wife had to drive you to a job where you're making $80,000 a year with pension and benefits. That's the worst day ever. But we're all guilty of that, aren't we? So a buddy of mine gave me a little one-word tool that I use. And this is a form of resiliency, okay, guys? Resiliency isn't just picking yourself up off the bottom. It's staying in a good state of mind when that stuff happens. So this one-word tool he gave me, he's a cardiac surgeon. And whenever something bad happens, so let's say he's dealing with heart stuff, and he's in the operating room and something explodes, or I guess there shouldn't be explosions. Hopefully, I don't know what kind of surgery he's doing in there. But something bad happens. Instead of saying, like my other buddy, oh, this is the worst day ever, which would do what to his ability to cope? He shrugs his shoulders and says, that's inconvenient. And then he carries on about his day. So I started using that. I've used that for a couple years now, and it really does help. Try it. So a while back, I was having some problems. Having some gastrointestinal problems. I couldn't go. Constipated. Could have said that one word. I was constipated. I couldn't go to the bathroom. So I went to the pharmacy and I got one of those naturopathic, gluten-free European products, whatever. And they always have those weird names too. The name you don't want checked at the price check, at the cash, like, we had a price check on colon blow, please. Stuff like that, right? So anyway, I take one of these products. I take like 4 or 5 of these tabs. I wait a couple hours. Nothing's happening. So I take a few more. Nothing's happening. Nothing's going on. Take a few more. So finally, I've taken a whole bunch of this stuff. Finally, I read the directions, because I'm a man. We do that last, right? Am I correct, guys? Yeah. So I read, and I've just taken a week's supply in a day. And there's a spoiler alert on this. There's no happy ending to this story. So fast forward the next day, I'm in Walmart with my 3 small kids, and I'm in the frozen food section, just looking at popsicles, minding my own business, when suddenly things start percolating. Things start moving. And I know it's time for me to start moving. I'm trying to gather my kids. That's like herding cats. Finally get to the checkout. You guys know the Walmart. There's a washroom right there, but no, I gotta go get to home base. So I can make it. We pull out. We go race down the highway. Now at this point, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a gynecologist, but I'm probably 3 to 4 centimeters dilated at this point. I'm doing that controlled breathing. I'm not joking. I'm doing that controlled breathing that, and my kids are saying, why are you bracing yourself against the door, Daddy? Why are you bracing yourself? I felt like I should be crawling ahead in the boil water and get blankets. So anyways, I go racing in the driveway. There's this massive pothole that my wife had been bugging me to fix for years. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, I grabbed my pants. And you're all laughing because you had a similar story. I know that's why you're laughing. We've all got one of those poop stories. That's why this is a great story. So right then and there, my phone rings, and the weird part is I answer it. And I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy what had gone on. And it was my wife. I tell her quickly what happened. She said, "How's that?" And I said, "Quite inconvenient." And it was a part of my story is, even when you're in the middle of a literal crap storm, you get to decide. You get to decide how you look at life. You get to decide whether you laugh at yourself or whether you make it the worst day of your life. It's totally up to you. Look, I know it's tough right now. It's tough being a kid, it's tough being a teenager, and it's tough being an adult in the world right now. It's a battle, guys, but it's never who we think it's with. It's never with our circumstances or people outside ourselves. It's always inside. Turns out Rocky Balboa was right. Rocky said it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. If you know what you want in life, go out and get what you want, but you have to be willing to take the hits. And you can't point fingers saying you're not where you want to be because they never hurt anybody. See, for me, my whole life, I've been fighting. I've been fighting on the street, I've been fighting in rings, I've been fighting on mats, I've been fighting everybody. But now I call myself a peaceful warrior because I've realized that the battles are all inside. And we all have those same battles, don't we? It's the battle for love, the battle for peace, the battle for happiness. And like many of you, my hardest battle at times is the fight to feel like I'm enough. I wish you all well in these battles that we all face together. That's my time. Thank you.
Or that. But I will, if I could add anything, Hal, as I'm listening to you, it reminded me of my very favorite quote by one of my very favorite authors, probably somebody you've read many times. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter when she was a young single mom on welfare, something I have been in my past. And she wrote, "Rock bottom was the foundation on which I built my life." And I live by that. Thank you so much, Hal. One more time. Many of you already know that the proceeds from tonight's show are donated to CHIO's SMA research program, but you may not know much about the role that this unit plays in the lives of children aged infant right through until 17 who have been living with SMA. Here to explain is our KITES student, Ryan Reaver, and then our CHIO representative, Mandy. And Mandy, where are they? Just kind of looking at them now. Thank you guys so much for coming in, and Mandy for coming from Ottawa to be here tonight.
So, the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, also known as CHIO, is a major children's hospital, a university teaching school, and a global leader in pediatric healthcare. The hospital is dedicated to helping children and youth through the funding of the Canadian government. And the support of many communities. CHIO combines high-tier clinical care, research, and education, helping over 500,000 children yearly. The Pediatric Intensive Care Unit, or PICU, is an area within the hospital which specializes in caring for any child who is seriously ill and whose medical needs can't be met on the hospital's main medical floors. The PICU provides sick children with the highest tier of medical care, and that is CHIO.
Hi guys, thank you again so much for giving me the honor of coming and speaking at your awareness event. This is actually the third show that I get the privilege of attending, and I have to say that every year I'm blown away by the talent that I witness and the hard work that's put into making this an amazing evening of entertainment and of awareness. I'm actually lucky to have a career that I'm very passionate about, one which allows me to work with amazing people in the community that care about CHIO as much as I do. When I tell someone that I work at CHIO, they often share these unbelievable stories about the care that their child has received. And if you'll let me, I'm going to read just the note that I recently received from a mom. And she said to me, "Dr. Nasser performed surgery on my then 19-month-old son. Everything went well during and after, but I'll never forget when we were having our pre-op appointment. I asked, 'Have you ever done this before?' Which might have been a silly question, but it felt important to me. And the doctor smiled, put a caring hand on my son and one on my shoulder, and said, 'Yes, I have, many times.' He paused just for a sincere moment and then continued, Mom, when he is on my table, he is my son too. That's the kind of work ethic that you guys are supporting by supporting CHIO. In the last 3 years, Project KITES has raised over $8,000, an accomplishment in its own sense. This generous gift has allowed us to renovate a room in our pediatric intensive care unit, which we call the quiet room, but which has also been nicknamed the bad news room. Sadly, parents sometimes are taken into this room with their care team to discuss a negative prognosis for their child. Project KITES cared enough to want to make sure that this room was warm and inviting, even if just to reduce someone's pain and suffering by a minute amount. Just amazing. This year's class has decided to support spinal muscular atrophy in honor of Mason. It's hard to believe, but there are actually over 650 research studies underway at CHIO as a whole. In the last year alone, CHIO researchers published 535 discoveries, which is more than one discovery every single day. Also amazing is that every dollar donated towards research at CHIO will be multiplied times 4 because we go to various sources, including grants, so we multiply every dollar. A worthy cause is for sure. To Ms. Bedore, I strongly feel that your students will be forever changed by having been in this class and by having you as a role model as a teacher. Year after year, I see how your KITES students show amazing drive, work ethic, which will continue to serve them in their future. And I really don't believe this would be possible without an amazing leader like you. So congratulations. And lastly, on behalf of the 112 kids that will not be sleeping in their beds tonight, the 200 that will come through our emergency department tomorrow, and the 500,000 that will come through our doors every year, thank you for continuing to be so generous. It would be impossible to execute the work that we do without communities like Smith Falls and groups like Project KITES. You are as integral a part of our CHIO family as the doctors and nurses within our walls, and for that, we thank you.
Our province is very fortunate to have such an incredible hospital in our nation's capital. We are proud to have you recognize and support Project KITES.
We want to make sure we're taking a minute to remind everybody that as the show is going on, you're free to check out the bake sale. Some delicious foods out there.
Thanks to Chef Burns, Ms. McCurry, and their students for helping us out with this. I think it's time for our live auction now, okay? I heard that things move pretty fast. You also know that people should keep their hands up at all times, right?
Okay, well, if people keep their hands up at all times, won't they be expecting everything that we're auctioning off?
Exactly. We want to thank William and John Joint for always showing up at our shows to host our live auction. We just can't talk as fast as they can, so we had to call them professionals. We sure are grateful for them, and let's get this party started.
And at Country Radio, we say, sold to the lady in the second row.
All right, thank you. Thanks, guys. Nice introduction, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be back here helping out Ms. Bedore and the KITES project and all the kids here at SFDCI. So we got a nice little auction for you here tonight. We've got 11, 12, 13, 14 items here for you. We've got, there's a young lad here who's going to go around and get your name after we sell you the item, and get your name and your phone number. Besides, is that you? All right, so you make sure you go around and get everybody's name. I guess what we're going to do is, after the auction later tonight, we'll get you to go and settle up with Matthias and Ms. Bedore. And the guys are going to hold stuff up, am I right? You guys got, where are we going to start? Lot number 1. I've got the whole script here, so I don't think you can follow along, but I'll try to describe stuff as we go on. Lot number 1, there's the first item. It's out of the sale tonight. A lot going on. We got Project KITES student Laura Stoddard knew that her grandma Wendy would want to contribute something to her live auction tonight. So she asked her grandma to make a few kids blankets. So what you're bidding on is not one, but 2 homemade blankets there. Hold them up there, guys. We got 2 homemade blankets here. First thing in the auction here tonight. All right, here now. I'm gonna get how much here? Put the bird here now. I'm gonna get $100 now. I'm gonna get $100. Give me $50 on the pair. I'm gonna get $50 now. I'm gonna get $50. Give me 20. I get $20 now. 20 bid. 30 now. I'm gonna get 20 here now. I'm gonna get $30 now. I'm gonna get 20 bid. $30. Pair of handmade blankets, $20, $30. I'm gonna get $30 now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's dark out there. I can't really see that well. I don't know if there's any lights we can turn on. 20 bid, 30 now. I'm gonna get 30 now. There you go. I'm gonna get $30 now. I'm gonna get 20 here now. I'm gonna get 30 on the pair. 30 bid, 40 now, Gary. $40 now. I'm gonna get $40 now. I'm gonna get $50 now. I'm gonna get 50 on the pair now. 40 bid, 45. I'm gonna get 45 here. I'm gonna get 45. 50, Gary, 50 bid 5. Hey, we get 55 here. I'm gonna get 55 here. I'm gonna get 55 on the pair. Last call. So Gary, $50. Gary Hubbard, right in front row here. So $50. Yeah, guys, just hold your hands up there so Matthias can find you there. Okay, lot number 2 in my catalog here. We've got Wild Arrow Company is a home-based business specializing in hand stamping jewelry. Each piece of jewelry is one of a kind and unique. This generous business has donated a set of jewelry that includes a pair of beautiful earrings and 2 bracelets. The hand stamp bracelet says "Refuse to Sink." This mantra is very closely connected to the work that Project KITES does in that they want to encourage their KITES families to keep on advocating. Keep on moving forward and keep on looking up. So we got the jewelry. Where's the jewelry? All right, here we'll give you quarter pie here now on the jewelry. Here now, we got how much here? Put the bird here, give me $100. Hey, give me $100 now, give me a bond. I'm gonna get bond, $100 now, give me a bond, $100, give me 50. I'm gonna get $50 now, give me 50, give me 20. I'm gonna get $20 now, give me $20 now, give me 20, 30. Hey, give me 20 here now, 30 to 40. I'm gonna get 40 now, I'm gonna get 30 here, I'm gonna get 40. $40 now, I'm gonna get 30, 40 now, I'm gonna get 40 now, 40 to 50 now. 40 here now, I'm gonna get $50 now, I'm gonna get 40 here, 50, 60. Hey, I'm gonna get $60 now, here now, I'm gonna get $60 AG. Hey, I'm gonna get $60 now. Hey, I'm gonna get 60, now 70. I'm gonna get 70 now, 80. $80 now, I'm gonna get 80 on the whole set. Hey, 70 to $80 now, I'm gonna get 80 on our last call. And 70 to $80 once more. $80 all done. 70 to 89. Anybody else? $80. So $70 right down the middle there. Hold your hand up, please. $70 so the guys can come and find you. Thank you. So $70. All right, here's number 3. Whether you're buying a new home or renewing your mortgage, financing your property, or looking for a construction mortgage, Capital City Mortgages can help you. This business has donated a beautiful gift basket that includes a bit of everything. You've got lip chap, sunscreen, water bottles, you've got face towels, lotto tickets. Wait a minute, this feels like a vacation basket. If you win big on these tickets, maybe you can choose your own destination too. All right, so we got a whole gift basket here from Capital City Mortgages. And what's the word? Where is it? There it is. Here now, how much here? Give me 100. Oh, $100 now. Give me $100 now. Give me 50. Hey, $50 now, I'm gonna get $50, give me 20. Hey, $20 now, I'm gonna get 20 here. I'm gonna get 20 there. 25 here. I'm gonna get 25. Hey, 20 here now, I'm gonna get 5 here. I'm gonna get 5 here. I'm gonna get 25 here. I'm gonna get last call. And 25, now 30, now 5. 35, now 40. Hey, 40 here, 45 here. I'm gonna get $50 now, I'm gonna get 50. 45, 50 man, 5 here. I'm gonna get 55 here. I'm gonna get 55. I'm gonna get 55. I'm gonna get 55. Sir, 55. Once more. 55. 60 again. 65 again, 65, 70, it's 70 here, I'm gonna get here now, I'm gonna get 70, once more, it's 70 on her now, I'm gonna get 65 here, I'm gonna get 70 on her, all done here now, I'm gonna get 79, so they get $65 right in the back row, right over there, thank you sir, so $65. The auctions, and one thing I always try to remind everybody is lots of times you get a phone call from some charity donation. Nice thing about a charity auction, you're actually getting something for your money. So it's a great way to give a donation, but also you go home with something as well. All right, so lot number 4. Okay, we got some quilts here for you. Quilting is a lot of work, so we really appreciate the next 2 items, which will be auctioned off separately. So we've got 2 quilts. First up is a baby quilt created by Tracy Nichols. Tracy's son Chase was a KITES student last semester, and Tracy loves to quilt in her spare time. All right, so remember all proceeds from this auction is going to CHIO. Okay, we got the first quilt tonight here. Now here we go on the baby quilt. Here now we get how much here? We get 4 here. Now we get 300. And 300 on now we get 3 on. We get 3. We get 3. We get 200. Now give me $100. Oh, $100 now we get 1. Oh, we get 100. I think last year we sold the quilt was $1,200. Am I right? Right around $1,200. Give me $1,000 here. Give me $100 on this one. $100 now we get 50. Hey, we get 50. Man, 75. On we get 75 here. On we get 50 here. We get 75. Hey, we get 50 here. We get 75 here. We get 50 here. We get 60. On anybody else? And a quilt for $50. Can you believe it? $60 now. Hey, we get $60 now. We get $60. Anybody else here? We get 50. 60. Last call. Hey, we get $60 now. We get 60 all done. Nobody else? $60 a night. Sold $50. Thank you. Sold $50. Take down the middle there. Okay, another quilt for you. Lot number 5. Our next baby quilt was made by an SFDCI student, Keisha Ferdinand. Keisha had never quilted before, and Ms. Bedore says she was incredibly fast learner. All right, so we think Keisha did a wonderful job making this quilt. Start away on the next quilt. Here now we get 300, give me 2. Hey, give me $200, give me 1. Oh, $100 now, give me 1. Oh, give me 1, give me 1. $100, give me 50. Hey, we get 50, then 75. 75, give me 100. $100, man, quarter now. Hey, give me 125 here, Gary. 125. 125, now 50. 175. Oh, 175 here. How about 160? Oh, 150 here. Hey, stop the quilt right there. Oh, 160. Gary, 160. I give me 150, give me 160. Oh, 160 here now. Give me $60 now. Give me 150 here. Give me $60. Last call. All done. 150, 160. Again, 160. Anybody else? Oh, 160 now. Give me 150 here. Give me 160. Anybody else? Gary, you think of 160? Yeah, why not? 170. Oh, 170, 180 here. Oh, 180 now. I'm going to get 180. 180 now. I'm going to get 180 here. I'm going to get 180. Once more. 180. No? Thanks for your help. Sold $170. Right down the middle. Okay, lot number 6. Jared Rutan is a former SFDCI student and a Project KITES student. He lives in Swiss Falls and specializes in sports and nature photography. But he loves to take pictures of people as well. Jared expressed his interest in photography at age 13, but at the time he didn't know how creative he was. After honing his talents for years, Jared is fortunate to be able to have turned his hobby into his profession. Jared has generously donated a 1-hour photography session to our auction this evening. The winning bidder will get 25 edited and unedited images, and the value of this session is $350. All right, so here we go. We got Jared Rutan, and we got a photography session. Start away. Give me how much here? Give me a couple $100. Maybe $200 now to get $2. I'm going to get $200 now to get $2. I'm going to get $2. Give me 100. Oh, $100 now to get $100 now to get where? 100. Thank you. Now quarter. Oh, 1 here to get 25 here to get 100 and a quarter now to get 25 here. I'm going to get 100 and a quarter now. Oh, 1 here now to get 25 here to get 100 and a quarter. Still cheap, 100 in, 100 and a quarter, 100 and a half, maybe. Oh, 150, 175. Oh, 175. Now $200 now. Give me $200 now. I'm going to get 2 in, now quarter. And 225 now. 50 now. I'm going to get 2. 50, you're going to get 2. 50, you're going to get 2. 50, 275, and 275, and 275. How about 260 then? 260, 270, and 270 now. I'm going to get $70 now. I'm going to get 270. 270. Yeah, now 280 here. I'm going to get $280 $280. 280. What's more? 280. And 300. And 300. Now 300. 310. That's right here now. Do we get 10? $1 now. Do we get 310? Do we get 310? Do we get 3? Thanks for your help on. Do we get 310? Sold $300. Thank you. Those men, gentlemen. $300. All right, here's number 7. Eric Goff is a Project KITES student this semester, and when he heard about our live auction, he decided to donate one of his never been used before hockey sticks. All right, that's how we sell stuff at the auction. Never been used before. All right, here, this stick must be something special because it's valued at $300. It's a CCM SuperTax 2.0 85 Flex Ovechkin curve, and it's for left-handed players. If you love hockey, and if you know somebody who does love hockey, then this may be the item for you. Okay, so we get an Ovechkin stick. Start in here now, we get 300. And $300 now, we get 3 on. We get $300 now, we get 3 on. We get 3, we get 2. And $200, we get $100 on. We get $100 now, we get $100 now, we get 100. Hey, give me $100 now, we get $100. Give me $50 in a hockey stick. $50 on, we get $50 now, we want it. $50, 50 minutes, 75, 75. Now $100 now, we get $100 now, we get $100. We get 75. Ma'am, I called you at 75, now 85. It's 75 here, we get 85 here, we get 85, 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 all night. It's 75, here's a bargain, $300 hockey stick for 75 bucks. 85 now, 85 here, we get 85, we get 85, we get 85. Let's go, it's 75, 85, anybody else? You're all done? Sold $75, thank you. Sold $75, we in the second row. Right down from the second row here. How you doing, Uncle names there? You caught up? All right, here we go. Bottom right. Angela Jenner is a Smith Falls citizen and a 31 consultant. She has generously donated a basket of 31 products. These items are fun, fashionable, and functional, and the company has existed for 15 years and counting. All right, so we got a whole basket full of 31. All right, here we go. We get how much here? What's number here? Hey, we get how much here now? We get $100 now. We get 50. Hey, we get $50 now. We get $50 now. We get 20. Hey, $20 now. We get 20. We get 30. We get 20 here now. We get $30 now. We get 20 here now. We get 30, 30, 40. $40 now. We get 40. Here now. We get 30, 40. $40 now, we get 30 here now, we get $40 now, we get 40 here, $100 now, we get 40, I get 30 in the back, 40, hey now, we get $40 now, we get 30 here now, $40 now, $40 for 31, $40, you guys are at 40, we get 40, and then here now, we get $40 now, we get 40 here, we get 40 here, all done, last call, $40 a night, so $30, Tracy or Angie? Angie, all right. Thanks, Angie. Sold $30.
You're fine, Owen. The mic's not even on. The loose change.
Drummer was going to make it, but this is Alex, he's playing drums, George over here on guitar, and I'm sing. We're going to play some original songs that I brought to these guys, and this is how it kind of turned out. This song is called Alone With You.
Well, I don't wanna live very long.
You got to tell me why can't you look me in the eye, baby? I can't sleep, I can't eat, and you don't know what to do. You asked, I say I'm alright. Am I alright? The light only turned yellow. There's not much I can say while I'm out here in the middle, looking out both ways, praying there's not someone to ride in to take my place away from me, from me. I don't live it alone. I don't think my heart can take it, let alone without you. No, I don't wanna live it alone. Take my heart and be a story. I only wanna live it alone. Don't live it alone. I only wanna live it alone. With you. I've been fighting so long. It's perfect timing that you gave it all this morning. Baby, 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 shut up and kiss me if you want to. Help me sing and dance and hold me like you miss me. And oh, there you go. Hey,
music and performs a variety of covers. He's performed for well-known country musicians like Jason Blaine, Aaron Pritchett, Dan Davidson, Rivertown Saints, the Western Swing Authority, Patrick JoJo Mason, and Bree Lawrenson. Landon was recently discovered by industry professional Doug Oliver, who is the co-manager, drummer, producer of the award-winning Canadian country band, Cold Creek County. Anybody familiar with them? And he signed a deal last summer with his management team, Veritas Music Management. Landon is now working on his first 3-track EP. You can expect great things from this determined young rising star. 13, really? Here to perform They Don't Make Them Like That Anymore by Jason Blaine and Dark Horse by Debbie Dawson. Please put your hands together for Landon Joy.
Check. All right, sweet.
People always ask why I wear black, where'd I get my style, why I never smile in pictures. They ask me what I drink, I'll sip on anything. I for me to smoke liquor. No, it ain't it, I'm still conscious. Yeah, I'm just conscious of myself. All sad of the silence, those motionless reflects, away, fade straight off. My heart bleeds, country music, really understand our truths. No, I ain't no white man, a little more. I'm just conscious of myself, and I don't wanna be nobody else. So I sighed the silence, those motionless raphides, away, fade straight off. My heart beats, country music, with my eyes.
Feeling?
prom season, isn't it? You're not asking me, are you? Oh, okay.
We already went.
No, here we go. Maybe we should, maybe we should let the love expert take it from here.
We have a love expert here?
Well, pretty close. We have a date by Kate here with us this evening. Caitlin McNamara is an entrepreneur who plans custom dates with people in the Ottawa area. And she's a date plan for Jen and Eddie. Come on up here to explain, Caitlin.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So my name is Kate, and I have a business called A Date by Kate, whereby I plan dates for couples, and I send them around adventures in Ottawa and surrounding areas. Smith Falls could be one, based on your love story. So what you do is, you fill out a questionnaire, you tell me about all things you love, you scrap the things that you maybe don't love so much, and then you have no idea what you're doing for this entire day itinerary. I get a lot of couples that send me a message a few days before going, can you please tell me what we're up to? I need to know what to wear, I need to know what to bring. And I send them a pre-date game plan, just saying, don't fret, this is when you're gonna eat, this is what you need to wear, but you still don't get to know. So the night before, I send them out an e-itinerary. I flip them off a PDF and I send them a Google Map link to directions in case they get lost. And then that morning they wake up and they go on their little adventure tailored to their love story. So I got speaking with Mrs. Bedore, and she is my sister, if any of you guys want to know that too. But as I was kind of traveling through this journey of watching the KITES program unfold, I wanted to do something for the parents of each of the KITES children that are featured. And Jenna and Eddie, I don't know what a day in the life of you is like, and I hope that there's places and pockets of flirting and great communication, and I'm sure that you can't get through. Do you flirt with her? And I don't know your love story yet, but what I did with Mrs. Bedore was I asked if I could do a fundraiser, and I always say that I swoop in and I plan a date for a couple, and I just enter their life. Most times I don't even know them, but I find out about them through this paper story, and I wanted to swoop in and do that for the both of you. So I did a photo shoot fundraiser, and it was one day in Ottawa, one day in Smith Falls, and I was able to raise $240 to send them on an adventure. And then paired with my date planning fee, it's a package of around $380. So that's coming your way if you guys would like to accept. And then as I was sitting there in the audience, I was, kind of wanting to ask a bunch of questions, like when was your last date and where did you go? And I didn't want to put you on the spot, so I won't. But maybe Mason at the time would want to help me plan this date for you. So if I can somehow get him involved, because he knows you best, then that would be really fun for
There's Mason. Speaking of Mason,
maybe both of them want to help plan this.
Aww.
So anyways, if you would, if I could present this to you, if you want to come up on stage, and if you want to add anything about your love story and the flirting that you do on the daily, you're welcome to. He asked me to marry him in the swamp. So I guess I'm going back to the swamp. With a four-wheeler and a case of beer. There's your romance for the evening. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
See, there you have it, John. You could take her to the swamp before prom. She'll be talking about it for years. Years and years. That is a very cool business. How incredibly rad is that? Have fun, you lovebirds. All right, y'all. We got one last act for you this evening. Arlene Quinn is a performer and songwriter who has shared the stage with Kenny Rogers, Loretta Lynn, Lori Morgan, Terry Clark. Her previous single releases have been played in more than 40 countries. She won top song honors at Nashville's Country Music Week back in 2017, and she spent much of 2018 writing with hit songwriters in Nashville and readying her upcoming EP. The lead single from her new EP, Jackpot, was actually written by Kelsey Ballerini, Jennifer Denmark, and Casey Teemer. Jackpot is currently sitting at number 3 on the International Country Music Chart and has entered the Nashville Music Road Chart at 99 and continues to climb. Arlene has just finished a U.S. radio tour where she was invited to perform live at the world's most famous country music station, WSM Radio, home of the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. We are thrilled to have Arlene with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise. Trying to fool me. There we go. How is everybody? What a fabulous evening. I'm so honored to be here, and I just can't tell you enough how much Mason, you are my hero. I already told you that earlier, but boy, oh boy. When I think things are tough in my life, Mason is one of the people that I do think of quite often. The resiliency, and when people ask me what I was going to sing tonight, I just got word from Nashville that my song is keeps moving up the charts on the Music Road charts, and I'm just feeling so blessed. But I'm not going to do my hit single right now that I have out in the U.S. I'm going to do a song. It's actually on my EP that I did for live at the Grand Ole Opry about a month ago. And it's called Saints and Sinners. I wrote this in Nashville. And I want to sing it for you tonight because I believe everyone is equal. And nobody's better than the next person. And I think if we could all embrace that, it would be a wonderful place to be. What I told you, we're all just people, good and evil, and as clear cut as it seems. What if the high road is just a high horse, and a fall from grace is only to go deep? What if broken is really better than having it together and the truth? The saints are sinners too. We birds make it through, and heaven's full of angels been through hell, watching out for me and you. Everybody's lost, trying to find their way. We've all got our demons, but God loves us all the same. He's looking down, and he ain't looking down on me. Saints are sinners too. What a holy just needs forgiven. What a forgiven every second chance leaves. What if we judge each other more than he does? And these chains are just a chance to be set free. Everybody's lost.
set free. Saints are sinners too. We can't see it through. In heaven, full of angels been through hell, watching out for me and you. 'Cause everybody's lost, trying to find their way. And we've all got our demons, but God loves us all the same. He's looking down and he ain't looking on me. Saints are singers too. Saints are sinners too.
There's no such word as can't in our household. I don't know where my son is. I have a 13-year-old son. And, he's somewhere. I can't see him. That's something I always tell him and what we live with. So when I see someone like Mason and other children that are facing battles every day and they get up and they do it with a smile on their face, and it's just an incredible testimony to what the human soul will do and how strong we are. Right, Mason? So I'm going to share a song with you. This was my first single that I re-entered the recording world with, called Nowhere to Go But Up. It was a song actually, you mentioned Bree Lawrence earlier, and Bree actually encouraged me. I was kind of she always looked up to me and how I had, it's hard as a woman in the music industry, believe it or not, and she always kind of looked up to me, and we wrote this song together actually, and I had started it when I was lying in bed feeling sorry for myself, Mason. Imagine that, right? You're feeling hopeless, defeated. Since you take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Don't give up, don't give up, don't